So we'll go ahead and get the webinar started. I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me here. This morning, I would like to share with you a new program that I have. And let's see here. I want to share the screen. Sorry here, I'm not very much of a techie guy, so you'll have to bear with me for just a couple minutes here as I get this all sorted out. But yeah, I just wanted to, once again, welcome you to this. I have a new program, as you probably saw on LinkedIn or Alignable or Instagram, some of my postings on this. Um, you were you might be wondering why I don't have anybody on this show right now. And that is because I really don't have a mailing list. And that's basically by design. I don't want to harass people and, bombard them with emails and say, hey, look, come join my webinar, my program. I figured if people are really interested, they will join. Uh, if they don't, that's fine too. I am not desperate. I am not needy or greedy. So it doesn't really matter to me whether you join or not. But I do want to take a few minutes to explain this program, this new program that I have. And basically what this is here is, so I have been a commercial loan originator and raising capital for about 12, 13 years now. And I myself have spent a small fortune on real estate investment training. So I have been a student of Grant Cardone, Jonathan Twombly, Neil Bawa, Michael Blanc, to name a few. And I am certainly not against education. In fact, I'm a firm believer in education. If you have the time or the opportunity and the financial resources to join one of these guys' programs, by all means, invest the money. You will not regret it. They're all good. All the men that I just mentioned, and there's a few women out there, Wendy Patterson, I believe is her last name. There are a few that are very, very good. Robert Kiyosaki, Kim Kiyosaki from the Rich Dad series, excuse me. They are all good. They all have very, very good information, very, very good training. And so I don't want to ever discourage you from joining them. And I'm not, condemning the programs. However, as I just mentioned, I have been part of their programs and they've all provided values. However, there's one thing that I came to mind here, that I think I can improve upon. And that is I have done and actually closed real live loans. For example, I did a light industrial building in Portland, Oregon on Gleason Street for a guy who had a tool machine shop. And he had a hard money loan that was 12% interest only, and it didn't have a term on it. It just went on forever. And, he was not paying off the principal, only interest. And so he approached me and said, can you get me a rate and term loan? And so I did, and a lower interest rate, which I did. So I found him a private lender that gave him a 5-year term. It was amortized for 30 years. It had no prepayment penalties. And the interest rate at that time was 7.25%. So he was very, very happy because he got his loan paid off. He had the income. His business was generating income to pay off that loan. So we we had a happy marriage there. Another one of my biggest closings was a $2.2 million cash out refinance for a couple of multifamily properties and also in Portland, Oregon. This was a special situation because the broker was a Chinese American guy. His client was a Chinese accredited investor who lived in China and owned a manufacturing company there somewhere near Beijing that spun off like $750,000 a year. Or no, I'm sorry, that was his salary. That's what he paid himself from his profits. The thing is, he had no green card. He had no social security number. The only thing he had going for him was an LLC, which he kept his 2 apartment buildings in. He held them in this LLC, in this entity, and that was the only thing he had going for it. So they approached me. He wanted $2.2 million cash out refi from these 2 properties because he wanted to buy a hamburger franchise. I can't remember if it was like Sonic Burgers or what it was, but he decided that he wanted to invest in hamburgers and franchises. So we started the loan process, and I found an experienced loan originator, loan officer with a small regional bank out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. And it took us about 6 months to close this loan because we had the Bank Secrecy Act and that we had to deal with. And then we had the FedEx documents back and forth to China from Portland. So that took a while. And there were some hurdles that had to be met. Of course, we had to have all the documents together, current rent rolls. He had a property manager at the time that was basically letting one of his friends stay in one of the units for free. And it was just kind of a mess. It was a little mismanaged. And I think the property manager at the time, the on-site manager might have been addicted to drugs or had some kind of drug addiction. But anyway, the fact is we got the loan closed. So I've got some experience. So that's what I'm trying to portray here. And I was thinking, here's the thing. If you're going to spend $10,000 on a mentor, a real estate mentor to teach you, or 20,000 or whatever it is, why don't you just apply, find a good property, and just apply for a loan with me? And that way you get your property, and all that 10 or 20,000, whatever, can be used as your down payment and part of your closing costs. Okay. So that is the offer that I'm making to you who are watching this program. You come to me with a property that you want to finance, and I will teach you everything. I will help you get your credit reports. I'll help you analyze your credit reports. I will help you and guide you with getting current rent rolls. I will help you negotiate with the seller, with the listing broker, or with your broker if you're represented by a buyer's broker. If you have some money but you don't know where to start or who to trust or whatever, you know what? I've got access to all kinds of properties. I go to LoopNet and apartmentbuildings.com and other Yardi and Marcus Millichap, and I'll find properties, and I'll actually I'll do some property analysis on them and pre-due diligence. So if you're saying, hey, I've got 30,000 and I don't know what to do with it, well, hey, come and ask me. I can help you find a property that will match, and I'll actually work with you and help you match that property so to what you've got available. And, this is all part of the training. So most of these other gurus, they'll real estate mentors, they're going to teach you about investing in real estate. They'll teach you the nuts and bolts, but my program and what I'm doing is I am actively working with you, alongside you, and teaching you and mentoring you and guiding you through the whole process, so that you're not just spending money on books and programs and pre-recorded videos and whatnot, and you just watch them and then you think, oh well, how does this all fit together, right? So that includes, title and escrow officers, any legal attorneys, or legal professionals, attorneys, real estate attorneys that we have to work with. We'll make sure that the property has clean title, that there's no liens on it. We'll make sure that it services the debt. That's the biggest thing that lenders want to see, is you can't just throw a beautiful property at them and say, hey, I want to get financing for this. It's a beautiful property and it cash flows, and it might cash flow. But the thing is, that's my job. That's where I come in, and that's where my experience is calculating that debt service coverage ratio, which is so important and coveted by lenders. You might find a property that cash flows, but it does not service the debt, because after you take out all the expenses from it, you may not have enough money to service the loan, to pay the principal and interest on the loan. And I've actually seen some properties like that recently. I was looking at a couple of properties here in Washington State where I'm at, and I did some due diligence and some number crunching, and they don't generate enough rental income every month to pay the loan and the expenses. Now, granted, that it could be a little bit because of my strictness, because when I don't have a pro forma, or when I don't have profit and loss statements or income statements on the property, on the subject property, what I'll do is I don't waste a whole lot of time. I'm not going to spend hours and hours digging due diligence on this property. I have a very simple system, a very simple spreadsheet. In fact, actually, maybe I can show it to you here. Let's see here. I got to try to figure out how to do this. I have to whip this up here. Let's see here. I don't have it popped up here. But anyway, I have a spreadsheet and I use a 50% expense ratio. So right off the bat, I'll take the gross income that this property makes and I'll automatically cut it in half. Half of that is for expenses. Then what's ever left over, then I'll calculate what the principal and interest would be on that loan, and I always use high interest rates too. Right now I'm calculating around 9%, about 9.5% for a 30-year fixed, and about 13% for a bridge loan, short-term bridge loan. But more on that in just a minute. So that's kind of the value that I can provide for you, is to help you navigate through through all this due diligence, property analysis. I can put you in touch with a title and escrow officer and anybody like that. I shop for the lenders, so you don't have to shop for them. One of the things that a lot of borrowers do is, I know a lot of investors out there like to do it themselves, and so they'll start calling everybody out there asking for a loan, and of course they get shot down. Many of them get shot down because maybe their credit isn't good, or maybe they don't have enough down payment, or, whatever, a whole array of reasons why they can't get financed. And what a lot of investors and borrowers don't realize is this, is that when you start shopping a loan around, when you go to Wells Fargo and then to US Bank and then say, Vortex Capital or Velocity Capital or Vizio Financial or, Oak Tree, financing, or any of these lenders, Cherrywood, um, once a lot of these loan officers and processors and underwriters see your file, and if they see that everybody else is rejecting it, they're going to reject it too. They're going to say, well, if these guys won't finance it, then I'm not going to finance it. And that could be for two reasons. Either one, you're not a very good candidate, client. I mean, I hate to be so blunt about this, but maybe your credit scores are not good and you're just trying to hide it, or dismiss it and trying to push hard to get a loan even though you don't qualify. Perhaps you don't have enough money for a down payment. There could be a whole bunch of factors playing into this as to why you're not getting financed as a borrower, as an individual or a company, which also brings up another point. A lot of commercial lenders want to lend to a company, to an entity, not to an individual. So that's another factor. The second one is the property itself. Maybe the property doesn't cash flow enough or produce enough rental income to service the property. Or perhaps it's a Class C property being marketed as a Class A property. And a lot of sellers and listing brokers, everybody wants to sell their property at top dollar. And pro formas are something you always take with a grain of salt, because sellers will always put the highest number in there. They'll say markets are under, or rents are under market, which basically means that they want you to raise the rent. Now, if you raise the rent, then you raise the value of the property, yes. But if they're asking $400,000 on a property that's worth $300,000, and they're saying by you raising the rent on the tenants $50 a month to come up to that $400,000 value, that's on you. No, we're going to go to the sellers and we're going to say, look, since you're selling the property, since you're going to exit this property, you be the bad guy. We as the borrowers, the new investors, new owners, do not want to come in looking bad like, hey, we just bought this property, so we're going to shaft you and we're going to raise the rents on you $50 a month. No. Pin that on the seller. Have the seller raise that to get their asking price. Don't just give them what they want and assume that it's current. It's not. Most rents are under market. You can definitely squeeze out a few more dollars every month from the tenants, or the lease, or the clients, the renters, the people who are doing the lease. But I think it's the seller's job to raise that, especially if they want top dollar for this property. It's got to be their responsibility to ensure that the value holds. Okay. So here's the value that I can add for you, and you can take it or leave it as you want. Okay. But I can help you with the processing. I can help you with underwriting. I can help you with property analysis. I can even help you find a property in your neighborhood if you don't have any idea where to look or what to buy. And one of the things I would like to help you do is to get pre-qualified, not pre-approved, pre-qualified. Okay, so what that means is I gather all your docs, we go over your credit report, we go over your personal financial statements and all these things, and then I put together a package. We get all those docs together, and then we find a property that fits your criteria, and then we go ahead and apply for the lender. And I've got lots of lenders. I'm connected with over 53 different sources of capital, ranging from short-term rental lenders to I mean, I've got a couple Airbnb lenders that will finance Airbnb properties. I've got office, retail, light industrial, of course, multifamily. I mean, the whole gamut. So you can't go wrong with that. Okay. Um, and I can help you with this. I can help you with this, and I want to. This is my passion. This is my job. But I know that I have to I know that I have to win your trust and your confidence. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. And so this is part of what I'm offering here. So let me roll into that. So Anchor Commercial Real Estate Cap and Investment Capital is my company. And so here are my offers. I have what I call a bronze program, and it's just like normal. You just have a property that you want to finance, and you just send it to me. You send me the address, and we kind of just go back and forth. You can take your time if you don't want to submit your credit reports or your personal financial statements right away. That's fine. You can submit it a week later, a month later, or a year later, whatever. Okay. There's it's just the regular thing, just like most regular borrowers out there. But if you are on fire and you have something and you're very, very anxious to get going, I have what I call the silver program. It's a $2,500 one-time engagement fee. I will take this from the loan origination points. I usually charge 1%. So if you send me a property that's $200,000 or $100,000, then that $2,500 is mine, will be my fee at closing. If it's over, like if you get a $500,000 property, or, for example, or my loan fee, my 1% comes to $5,000, then I'll cut it in half. I'll reduce that 2,500 from that. Now, one thing with upfront fees, I know how investors feel. They think, oh, this is a scam. So in order to prove myself not a scammer, you can deposit this $2,500 with an escrow company of your choice. So whether it's Chicago Title or First American Title Company, you choose whoever you want to go with, and then you will call the escrow company and talk to their escrow officers, get a name and contact information, and then email it to me or text it or call me with that information. And I will call that escrow officer and make arrangements so that you can put your $2,500 into an escrow account. That way, you can rest assured that I'm not a scammer. I can't touch that money until we close. All right. So anyway, don't ever send me money to my personal bank account. That's what I'm saying, because I'm an honest guy. I'm very transparent. I believe in the golden rule to treat other people the way I want to be treated, and I want to treat you the way you want to be treated. And certainly nobody in their right mind wants me to take $2,500 and run off with it and disappear. Okay, so, and I'm going to hold myself to that. Okay, and I'm going to hold myself to you to that, and you can hold me responsible for that. So find an escrow company, get me in touch with an escrow officer, and we'll take it from there. We'll set up the escrow account, you make your deposit, and we rock and roll. Then the training begins, and we'll work on putting the loan package together for your property, for your acquisition. Okay. Now, continuing on here, it is refundable. If I cannot find you a suitable lender within 60 days, okay, if I can't find you a lender for your property, and you have provided to me verifiable, accurate, and up-to-date documentation in a timely manner, I'll refund you the money. Okay, 60 days for me. Your role on your part is to provide me with all the documents that I need to get this thing closed. And it has to be honest. It has to be accurate. It has to be current and up to date. And I have to be adamant about this, folks, because several years ago, I had two loan brokers or two real estate brokers, I'm sorry, or at least they were posing as realtors, come to me with a client that had two mobile home parks. He wanted to get a cash out refinance out of the two parks that he owned so that he could buy a third mobile home park. Well, they sent me the rent rolls was just, it was a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that was numbered 1 through 40 because it was the 40 unit park, or at least one of them was. The other one was a 35 unit park. And then all they had was the rent numbers, and each unit was $400 a month straight down. There was no records of deposits. There were no names of the tenants. It was 100% occupied. All the lots, all the spaces were filled. All the mobile homes were filled, and it just didn't look right. There were no deposits, first and last deposits, or pet fees, pet rental fees, or anything like that. So so I was working with another experienced loan broker on this, and so we called out the realtors and said, hey, look, we need to get a CPA or an accountant to verify these numbers and create us a spreadsheet that we can do underwriting on and verify that these numbers are true and correct and that these are the current projects. So they took another 3 weeks, and they hired an accountant or CPA, I believe, and they sent the numbers. And so we started proceeding with the loan. And then when it came for him to do his deposit for his part of the down payment, what the seller did, by the advice of the two real estate brokers, is that he sold those two mobile home parks to raise the cash in order to buy the third property. Well, folks, let me tell you something. This is huge mortgage fraud, okay? And so obviously he never got financing for this third property, supposedly third mobile home park. And he basically shot him in the foot because now nobody's going to lend to him. Nobody. I don't think he'll ever, ever, ever get a loan from any company again, especially when they see what he did. Okay. So it's all on record. Okay. So anyway, moving on here. I just wanted to tell you that little story because I've got lots of war stories. There's reasons why I'm charging the $2,500 fee. It's not because, it's not because I really like other loan brokers. It's not a way for me to generate revenue. It's just more to establish trust between both of us. Okay. And I've tried to make it fair so that, you're not just sending me money straight to my bank account. Okay. It's going in an escrow account. So scope of work. So of course, that's my value add. That's how I'm going to provide value to you. I'm going to do the shopping for you. I'm going to contact all the lenders that I think are suitable for your particular acquisition. I will do the property analysis with you and for you. I will work with processors, underwriters, title escrow attorneys, and check writers, all the people that are involved in a commercial real estate finance transaction. That's where I'm at, and I'll do all the communicating. I'll do all the negotiating and everything for you. So you just kick back and relax. All you have to do is just submit your documents, your accurate, updated documents, and I do all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so then the gold program is $5,000, and it's the same as the silver program. Everything's all the same, but this is good forever. Okay, so if you were to want to engage me today, but you say, Andrew, I don't have a property yet. I'm kind of in transition. I'm moving to a different state, and it might take 3 months or whatever. Or, my daughter's going off to college or whatever, and I want to spend some time with her, so I won't be ready for another 6 months or so. Fine. You can either pay that later or you can pay it now, and I'll hang on to it. once again, it's going to be an escrow, so I'm not touching it until you're ready to start. Okay. Uh, Once we get the mentoring, though, the property due diligence and the financing and all of that stuff for the $5,000, I will probably not, you know, while you're taking your time, if you're going to pay this now, I probably won't work with you very closely and educate you and answer a whole lot of questions while you're still out there, taking care of your other business before you're ready to jump into action with me. Okay. So please understand it's our time is valuable. So I would rather you just not even pay the 5,000 right away. Just wait until you're ready and then come back, and then we can that when you're ready to rock and roll, and that way it's fair to both of us and we're both at ease with that. Okay. And so anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for this. My information is here on the screen. I'll leave it up here for just a few seconds. And of course, this is being recorded, so you can, definitely get it, rewatch it later. You can feel free to call me on my mobile phone if you have any further questions. Just please leave a name and a message, because I do screen my calls. Everybody is scamming and, sending me unwanted text messages and emails or phone calls and stuff, voicemails. So I delete that. If I don't hear anything, I usually just block the number. And then also I'd like to invite you to check out my YouTube video or my YouTube channel. I have about a dozen videos on there, including all my previous recordings of these webinars. And there's a link up there on the screen. It's 2 Acres Investing. And there's a whole bunch of short little video clips of, various real estate investing topics that will be helpful to you. Okay, so that's pretty much about it for me. I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I just wanted to thank you for joining me today, and thank you for watching this video. Our next meeting webinar will be on March 29, and I will be interviewing Ivory Becker of Insight Strategies, LLC. She is a credit repair expert, and I've referred 2 clients to her already. She does a phenomenal job. She's top notch in the credit repair industry. Everybody can use credit improvement for sure. So please join me next week. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and check out. I just want to thank you again for joining me, and I wish you all the best, and see you soon.